Sup, my dudes? Big teacup sipper. We got the 2011 Monster Energy Cup DLC. So let me just keep it real right off the bat. I feel like these Monster Energy Cups, since the very beginning of Milestone putting these in their games, I just felt like this would have been one of those little extra content things that they just throw in the game, just to give you a little bit more content. Since these games only have one free ride track, basically no motocross content, no other kind of racing content. It's kind of like, you would think they would just throw in that Monster Cup just out of the goodness of their hearts. You know what I'm saying? You would just think that, but by the way, I got this AI difficulty on super easy. I'm going to try to just get out front so we can look at the track here. Interestingly enough, you can't actually... this is my first time ever on it, by the way, so, I watched this race live back in the day, 2011, but it's, a lot of water been under that bridge since I saw that race, so I don't really exactly remember how this track went. This will be interesting looking at it again, though. Let's see what we got here. Kind of looks like my camera is further out. Let me look. No, that's the further out one. Okay. All right. Okay. Nice little motocrossy vibe section. Man, it's been a long time since this one. But what I do want to say is it is cool that they did kind of throw it back to the very first Monster Cup that there ever has been. That is pretty cool. I will admit that. But at the same time, imagine just like riding off over to those freestyle jumps, throwing a fucking Axel Hodges. Oh my gosh. But that's what I was saying. I don't even think you can actually ride on this track like in free ride or, anything like that. You're pretty much forced to do a race on this track, which is kind of weird. I do remember this section right here. I remember all them boys going up in the stands. Wasn't this like the very first time that Dungy was on a KTM? 2011 Monster Cup? I'm pretty damn sure that it was. It may have been 2012. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, this was just ever since they've been doing that. I'm pretty sure they've had a couple of these Monster Cups in some of these Milestone games, and it's just always kind of seemed to me like they would have just kind of thrown that in there in an official Supercross game, instead of making it paid DLC. Just always kind of thought the Monster Cups just would have been something they would have just kind of thrown in there just to give you a little more track content in the game. But unfortunately, that's just not really Milestone's MO, you know what I'm saying? They're definitely not about giving you extra content for free. That doesn't really seem to happen very much, if at all. But this has definitely got a very, very smooth, not a lot of ruts, not a lot of character to the track. It's got some big berms in these corners, obviously, but very, very, just basic, basic for a arcade motocross game style track. And I guess you can say, the Monster Cup back in 2011 was pretty flat and basic, but at the same time, though, all I'm getting at here is, yeah, it's going to be cool when you first get on this track just because it's kind of got more of that motocrossy vibe to it, and with there being literally no other motocross tracks in this game at all. There's like the little bitty kind of sort of one on the free ride compound, but it's pretty simplistic, man. So yeah, at first it's going to kind of give you this little vibe of like, oh, it's kind of cool, or like on a little motocross style track in Supercross 4, but I just don't feel like there's going to be a whole lot of replayability to this track. Kind of just more of a kind of a throwback, like a little nostalgic vibe to the older, very first, Monster Cup track. Kind of feel like that's all this really is. And the price on this is, I think it's $5.99, I'm pretty sure. So like $6. So just another one of those weird kind of little, let's throw in this little track DLC. I don't know. It just, like, track DLC specifically when it's like when you pay this money for these one individual tracks, it just seems so silly to me. You know, like we're to the days of where games like MX Simulator and Reflex, you know, literally thousands upon thousands of completely free track content, custom track content with replica tracks, you know, enduro tracks, supercross tracks, motocross tracks. I mean, there's everything, and you don't have to pay anything for it. So it just seems like in this day and age, it's kind of comical when you get these milestone games where it'll be like, oh yeah, we're going to charge you $6 for one track, for one track in the game. It just, you know what I'm saying? It seems like it's so like behind the times or some shit. I don't really know. It's kind of just what it seems like to me. But either way, man, this is it right here. This is the 2011 Monster Energy Cup. I don't really recommend buying this shit. Like, if you want to ride on a Monster Cup, just go buy the PC version of Reflex, and there's like literally, I think, 4 or 5 different renditions of this. 4 or 5 different custom Monster Energy Cups on the PC version of Reflex. You know, if you're just like itching to ride on one of these tracks, or go buy MX Simulator, I know it's got like 10 different Monster Energy Cups on it. So, we'll run another one on it here. Run it back, Spency boy. Run it back. See what we can do here. But yeah, I definitely don't recommend buying this really at all. I don't recommend ever buying these like track DLCs. They're kind of pointless, really. And I just couldn't really see, you know, they did this with that, was it like the Los Angeles Cup Stadium? I can't remember what the hell that was. I can't remember what game that was in. I don't know if it was in Supercross 3 or it's like LA Coliseum or some shit. I don't even know. But they've been kind of doing this like track DLC type crap within these milestone games, you know. You can kind of huck that jump out right there. But these jumps are just so, like, there's just not a lot to them, man, to be honest. Kind of rode up over that berm a little bit there. There's just not a lot to them, man. It's not like you're going to really be over-jumping or under-jumping to where you're going to have any sort of negative on the bike. It's not really like these corners are tight or like a rut up the inside or like a little bit of roughness or... And it really doesn't have the vibe of being like hard packed, dry, slick, so you don't really get skill gap from that. There's just not a lot to this track, really, for being in this kind of a game and being the fact that there's really no like pre-made ruts or roughness or character or kickers or really anything on this track. There's just nothing. It's just flat. It's just a flat track, you know? So with the way that this game is, I could definitely see this track getting pretty damn repetitive pretty quickly. Just with, you know, there's not a whole lot of rhythms. I haven't really found one, like, actual rhythm that you're really going to hit any differently by hitting it any kind of different way. You know what I'm saying? I just haven't really seen that at all on this track, so... It's going to be a pretty basic experience as far as gameplay-wise on this track, you know. I can just already kind of tell you that for sure, though, bro. So, I mean, yeah, there's like you might be able to quad that, but then it's like pointless because then it's a single out of that. So, that would be kind of dumb. I just figured they would have put like an inside rut somewhere here. Or like a little bit of ruts going in a straight line on some of this or something. I don't know, man. Like, you can jump... Yeah, you could probably jump into those 3 little whoop roller things right there, but... And this right here, you can almost kind of jump to those whoops, but, like... This is pretty simplistic right here, dog. Especially in an arcade motocross game, you know what I'm saying? But either way, just had to go in here and kind of at least show the track off here. So yeah, man, we'll see what else Milestone does with this DLC, but I just don't. I mean, I think all of the track DLC that they've come out with, hell, even all the DLC that they've come out with so far for this game, in all reality, should have just been in this game. The Two Strokes should have just been in this game. The 2 different DLC tracks that came in the Two Strokes packs should have just been in this game. You do remember this game, half of the track content of the Supercross tracks in this game are basically the same track because they're in the same stadium. They replicated the whole Salt Lake City shit from last year. So in all reality, this is the one Monster Energy Supercross game where they really should have just gave you a little more content just because of the fact that half of the tracks are in the same stadium, so you're not going to get the same variation of tracks that you would have got in the other Supercross games. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, each one of the Salt Lake City tracks are different as far as the track itself, but they all feel pretty similar because they're in the same stadium. So you would have thought at least with this one, they would have gave you that Washington and Indianapolis DLC tracks just for free, and then the Monster Cup just would have thrown that in there just for free. I'm telling you, see, there's what it does when you kind of jump into those right there. I just would have thought that they would have just done that just to give the game a little more meat to the content. You know what I'm saying? A little more substance to the content, but that's not really the vibe they're on right now. I couldn't imagine them making that much money off of this. Yeah, they're probably made decent money off of the Two Strokes DLC because they've never had a two-stroke in one of these Supercross games, even though they have them in their MXGP games. Just another little reason why they probably should have just had it in there, but, they probably did make a little bit of money off of that just because people want to, first time there's ever been fully customizable two-strokes in a Monster Energy Supercross game, but I just couldn't see a whole lot of people buying this right here. I really just can't see it. Yeah, there's going to be some people that'll do it, but you're basically just kind of shitting off the money if you're buying this right here. It's just one track, man. That's all it is. It's just one track. It's just like, the only reason I bought it was to show it on YouTube. That is literally the only reason. I can promise you if I was not doing YouTube and I wasn't making money off of YouTube, Doug, I would not buy this at all for any reason. But either way, so that's the track. See you guys on that next video. Later, dudes.